Miss4, and today I'm going to be playing with my new Lisa Eldridge products. This is not a first impression, this is more like a third or a fourth impression. It's just that I don't always get to film as fast as I would like to, and I get my products and I really want to play with them. So I apologize, I've played with them without you. But here we are, we're going to do it on camera today. Now this has been a long road for me as far as picking up, let me have some coffee while we talk about this. The Lisa Eldridge products, most of them that I picked up launched earlier later last year. And the eyeshadow palette was the first thing that really drew me in. I'd been interested in Lisa Eldridge kind of from afar, and then the palette came out and I loved the look of it, the sleekness, the gold, it just looked fabulous. And then I saw a lip color that I was smitten with. It was the Velvet Duchess, which we do have to play with today. And I was like, oh, I really want to get that, but the palettes were $68, you know, and I'm like, and I was looking at them, and a couple of them sold out. There were 5 in total, and I went ahead. The Vega palette was kind of calling my name, so I figured out in my collection I was able to dupe it with 2 ColourPop palettes, and I do have a video on that. The Baroque palette and the That's Taupe palette from ColourPop. I was able to dupe the vibe, dupe the look from Vega. So the other thing that helped me, you know, Sorcery was all the rage and everyone was wearing it, but I decided that Sorcery, I actually had indie palettes that had a lot more sparkle and pizzazz. Even though the Sorcery palette looks like you can really build it up to be something, it's like, well, I technically have that. And it wasn't until just recently that Lisa launched more of the gloss embrace, the balm. It's both billed to be both a treatment and a very pretty gloss. And so it's like, okay, it's time. 3 of the palettes are still in stock: the Muse, the Cinnabar, and the Myth palette. And I picked up the Myth palette. If you've never heard Lisa speak about how she gets her inspiration and where she gets her color story from, this is a great palette as far as her talking about the mauve decade and the idea of like an early sort of a goth look from this. Now I am not an aficionado, a knower of all things Lisa Eldridge. There are many people on YouTube that are much more qualified to talk about Lisa Eldridge. Is, you know, they have more institutional history. They know more about her, know about her line, know about doing more for comparison's sake. And this is really my first foray into things. But I'll let you know what kind of pushed me over as we go. I'm getting ready for work, so you are having a little get ready with me while we plumb the depths of my haul. The thing I noticed, both the decadence in some ways of the items themselves, but also about how Lisa Eldridge spins the descriptions, how she names them, what kind of research she does on them, just fascinated me totally. So anyway, all of my products came in the Lisa Eldridge packaging. This is from the palette, has the gold on the white with the L and the lip, and then that. On the back of it, it has the shade names and what types. Now there are the seamless mattes, the velvet, the metallic, and then the top coats. This Myth palette just has 3 of those. It does not have the seamless mattes, but it has the other 3. So we are going to go through that. Now, this packaging is so pretty. It's got the brushed gold with the texture on top, and then the smooth gold. And then when you open it, and it's got a magnetic enclosure, it's got the good sized mirror, and then it's got this little protector with a Lisa Eldridge logo on it. And then here are your colors. I'll have a shot of the different colors. I'll turn it this way so you can see it better. That top coat in the middle, the metallic, and then the velvets here. Now it does look different from the pan onto the actual skin onto the lids. So we're gonna look at that a little bit more as we get into it. I'm going to apply some of the new gloss. I just got the one shade in it. I got Sorcery because I had missed out on the lip color. But as it turns out, I'm actually not sad about that in the long run. It's something I might pick up later, but it's not actually one of the first ones that I would pick up. I did pick up the Sorcery liner, the lip liner, and I was surprised at first because when I swatched the liner on it, it's straight up brown. It's a warmer looking brown on me. So it does not have the kind of mauve that the rest of the lip gloss, the Embrace, and the lip color itself have more of a mauve to it. The lip liner is just more brown to me. That's how it looks, at least. So I'm gonna just and this has a very soft, slightly pudgy doe foot applicator, very, very soft. And so this, if you're just applying a little bit of it, has a nice, cool toned, glossy finish to it. It does feel nice and balmy. Do you need to have, a high-end gloss? No, you could probably have other things that would work, but it is nice. And if you're making an order, there you go. Okay, so that's gonna just hydrate our lips while we go. Like I said, we'll come back to the lip liner. I did get 2 lip colors in Cinnabar and the Velvet Duchess. And the Velvet Duchess was the one I really fell in love with. So we're gonna do eyes first, and then we're gonna do cheeks and lips. I do have the lips. This is the Cinnabar. The gold cases, magnetic closures, and then on the cap there. Okay, so we're gonna go into the eyeshadow palette, and I do love just the hand feel of this. It's very nice. It's not horribly heavy, but it doesn't feel too light, but it's just comfortable, excuse me. Okay, so the thing about this palette, the 2 shades, the deeper purple and it turns out to be more of a hot pink. This right here looks more hot pink when you're doing swatching it out. So what I want to do is just use a little bit of the hot pink as a kind of a crease contour shade, and then we're going to go in with some of the other velvet colors to kind of, we don't want to go totally 80s, although you could with that hot pink and the deeper plummy amethyst color. So anyway, I've got my brush here. It's a firm brush. Now some of the shades I could see on other people's reviews were very, very light, and I was worried about that a little bit, and you can see from my swatches that they're definitely, with these colors, are ones that are just super light. They do not have a deep color pigment read. Now probably if I were to go back and have another order with Lisa Eldridge, and it came very quickly, by the way, it did not take too long to get products. I believe I had heard that she ended up having a US base for shipping, and I think that's probably why it didn't have to get shipped overseas. Okay, so see, that came really easily, went on super easily. So I'm gonna go into the, we're not doing metallic yet, but we're gonna go into that deeper eggplant color. And do that partially on the lid. And it would be very easy for me to have a bruised eye look with this palette. And then we're going to go into that Mauve Decade. The very top, Mauve Decade. So, luckily, my fears about this were put to rest. There are shades that are super light, very limited color, just kind of a sheen of color, a wash of color, with some satin kind of qualities to it. But I can actually get pretty dark looks with this palette. I can go for the goth, as it were. But I do like using a little stiffer of a brush for this to give me that maximum color payout. Okay, and I'm going to go under the eye with the Mauve Decade also. Okay, and then I'm just going to do a finger application of the metallic, and the metallic is called Faded Amethyst. So for this one, I'll read you the other ones. The Nocturna is a velvet, Illusionism is the top coat, Mauve Decade is the velvet, Faded Amethyst is the one metallic, Victorian Trim is the velvet, and then Violet Stone is the other velvet. So we're going to go in with the Faded Amethyst with a finger application, and then I'll show you the Illusionism towards the corner of the eye. So I'm just going to do a finger application of this. And it does capture the imagination, that whole idea that there was a color that was never seen before and that just, you know, flooded fashion and cosmetics and everything. The idea of anything new, actually new, you know, seems so far away. I mean, we really have discovered new things with the idea of multichromes, duochromes and then multichromes. But, you know, other than that, the idea of having a brand new color, I'm one of those weird people that I am kind of excited when the Pantone color of the year gets put out. But, you know, just the idea of things that we've never seen before in cosmetics and fashion and home decor. It's pretty exciting. Okay, so there is just general. You can see how I could get really dark with this. I'm going to take, excuse me, again with the finger application to the side, and I don't know that you'll really be able to see it. It's more of an idea. Please see, like there, you can barely see it on my finger. So you would just kind of have this as a sheer sheen with a little bit of sparkle to it. Okay, yeah, you can't really see much of anything with that. Okay, I'm going to put on a little bit of mascara. Actually, I'll do just a wee bit of liner. This is the Laura Geller Kajal and the Twilight Kohl. We'll put a little bit of that, a little bit of mascara, and then we'll go on to the lip and cheek that we're doing today. So just this is like a gray, a charcoal gray, just to give myself a little more definition. Just a tiny bit. And like I said, I'm still playing with this. This is still a new toy for me. So I don't necessarily have all of my thoughts together with it, but I just wanted to be able to play a little bit with it this morning. So you could just leave the lip with the light color that is Sorcery. in the Embrace gloss, the glossy Embrace. Some of the colors, like the Carnival, you can see different people doing lip swatches of it online, have a lot more color, so you can get some that are kind of coral and pink. But this one is just kind of, and you can build it up a little bit where it's more of a read, or you can use it with the lip liner. Okay, so that's going to do it for the moment for that. What I want to show you, I'm going to go ahead and blot my lip off. But you can see this would be a really great, kind of just a mellow look for day. Okay, so we're going to line a little bit with the Sorcery. All of the colors do come with a pencil, not with, but you can get an accompanying pencil. But they don't quite match color to color necessarily in all of them. They're a slightly different color in most of the shades. Now what I will say is for the velvet lip colors, I do suggest a liner. The color pigment got a great color payoff. If you put on a definite amount of the lip product, it will, of course, even though it's kind of a velvet, not completely matte, not creamy, it will transfer off onto everything. And the thing is, if you've put on a good amount of it, it will continue to transfer for a long time. It's a very long wearing lip color, so it's not something I'd wear if you need to not have something that's going to transfer, because it keeps its emollients to it, which is really amazing to me, that it keeps the emollients for a long wear time. I am quite amazed by that. Now what I want to do today is something that I saw Lisa doing, and like any makeup artist, she does tend to use her fingers, you know, to blend things, to move things, and so forth. So this is the Velvet Duchess. Again, the great packaging, the brushed gold, and then the other gold, the smooth gold. And this is Velvet Duchess. And so what I want to do is have kind of the monochromatic moment between my lips and my cheeks. And you can use these as cheek color. This is a very bold color, so you just want to be careful. But we're going to tap, so we have kind of a blotted lip and then a matching cheek. So we're going to start with the lip. And you could stop at whatever point you felt comfortable. And then just a little more on the bottom. Okay, even there, it's a pretty deep color read. But I can feel the moisture in it. Excuse me. Still early in the morning. Now I'm gonna tap some on the finger again, and you just lightly start tapping it on the cheek. Because it's just barely the idea that I'm flushing. Now if you wanted to, you take a brush after that and kind of tap it out. So I'm just looking for that kind of read of color to it. Come over here. And I can continue to tap it out, or again, like I said, use your brush. So even though you've got a pretty deep read of color, you can blend it out. Excuse me. And you can always take if you have a sponge or a brush with your foundation on it. Okay, so you can see, especially in this light, it definitely does a good job of matching my color. So that's where I want to leave off today. The most satisfying part, right there. So anyway, this is playing with my Lisa Eldridge. I'm really liking this. I think the look turned out really pretty. I'm going to put just a gray sweater with this, and it's toned down enough that it doesn't look, shocking, but I like the color read, the lip read, and I like the fact that you get kind of the matching blush tone to it. And I could add some bronzer if I want to do that. I'm kind of doing the pale moment right now, embracing that Victorian goth sort of moment. So anyway, this is second, third impressions, but I'm enjoying it, and I just wanted to bring you along to play with the new Lisa Eldridge today. So anyway, there you have it. Hope everyone's having a phenomenal day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.